Welcome to our Café Politique on Understanding Media and Elections, presented by the University of Manitoba's Doc Roblin Professorship, the Manitoba Institute for Policy Research, and the Winnipeg Free Press Café. I'm Andrea Rounce, a political scientist in the University of Manitoba's Department of Political Studies, and I'll be introducing the series of talks, this particular session, and our panelists tonight. The build-up to the fall 2011 Manitoba election is an exciting time for those of us who study politics and elections. But not everybody feels that way about politics, which I know is a big surprise for all of you here tonight. Civic engagement has reached a post-war low in Manitoba, with just over half of eligible voters casting ballots in the provincial election in 2007. Surveys indicate that many non-voters feel like the political system doesn't include them, or they have other priorities on voting day. Approximately 6 in 10 of those who don't report voting report not having enough information or enough knowledge about the political process to cast a meaningful ballot. This series of nonpartisan community discussions is designed to help address this reality. We're going to spend the next few months leading up to the election busting some myths about political participation and elections. We're asking questions like, are women as involved in politics as men? Do young people not vote because they're lazy? How have the electoral boundaries changed since the last provincial election, and does that matter? How do politics in the north of the province and in the north of the city differ from politics in the south? And do public opinion polls and the media influence the outcome of elections? Tonight we're going to start by talking about the media and elections. We have 3 distinguished panelists with us, all of whom have written extensively about the media and elections. So just some of the ground rules for tonight. Each of our speakers will take about 10 minutes to talk about the myths that they'd like to bust. After the speakers have finished their remarks, there will be time for questions and comments from the audience members. I'd like to remind everyone that these sessions are nonpartisan and that our speakers don't represent any political party. If you'd like more information about political parties and their platforms, links to some of that information is available on our website. The speakers' remarks tonight will be recorded, and those recordings will be available on our website at umanitoba.ca/U2011. This way you can revisit what the panelists have to say tonight, and you can also recommend it to friends, family, and others who would be interested in learning more about Manitoba politics. So I'd like to start by taking a few minutes to introduce our 3 speakers tonight. And I'll introduce them in the order that they're sitting on the stage, and in which they will be presenting tonight. So I'll start first with Dr. Linda Trimble, who is a professor in the Political Science Department at the University of Alberta in Edmonton. Her research explores media coverage of politics and women's legislative representation. She is the co-editor with Shannon Sambert of Mediating Canadian Politics and is currently co-editing a book on women's political representation across Canada. Her newest project is a SSHRC-funded study of television and newspaper coverage of Canadian National Party leadership contests from 1975 to 2006. Recent articles and book chapters include Either Way, There's Going to Be a Man in Charge, Media Representations of New Zealand's Prime Minister Helen Clark, Kim Speak, Gendered Mediation of Kim Campbell during the 1993 Canadian national election, and Belinda Stronach and the Gender Politics of Celebrity. Our next speaker is Mr. Paul Simon, and as a boy growing up in Winnipeg, Paul Simon used to deliver the Free Press while dreaming of a National Hockey League career. Alas, as he reports, his name has yet to be called at the NHL draft. We agreed that I'd stop talking while ambulances come by. But the Free Press has had him on its roster since 1988, where he's played a number of positions in the newsroom covering elections, wars overseas, and the funerals of a royal princess and a prime minister. The graduate of the University of Winnipeg and Red River College helped lead the Free Press's political coverage for a decade as its Ottawa bureau chief before being named city editor in 2007. The married father of 3 spends his non-working hours in various hockey arenas, hoping his kids have a better chance at making the NHL. And I suspect you were one of those celebrating. So our third panelist this evening is Dr. Shannon Sambert, who's a former journalist interested in the intersections of media, politics, and gender. Most recently, she's begun to analyze the new feminist backlash in Canada with a focus on right-wing populism and Canadian private talk radio. She is also involved in a pan-Canadian analysis of women politicians in a project that brings together feminist scholars from across the country. Her reader, entitled Mediating Canadian Politics, co-edited with Linda Trimble, examines the symbiosis between modern politics and media and examines the effects on democracy. Her second book, Let Me Tell You a Story, Sexual Assault Myths in English Canadian Newspapers, analyzes the myths and stereotypes found in 6 newspapers in Canada in 2002. She's a regular pundit for both radio and television, and is a frustrated and irregular columnist for the Winnipeg Free Press. So that's our panel tonight, and I'd like to start with Dr. Trimble.